What's up, good people? It is time for the newest edition of Notes by Notes right here on Facebook and YouTube. We got the crew back in the stew.
I'll see what you did there.
Yeah. What's going on, my good people?
What's good? What's good?
Wait, the stew. It's not the soup, though, right? We're not the soup.
The stew.
The stew.
The stew.
Southern cooked.
Yeah, but not. Yeah. Oh, I just got it. Just connected. Before we get started with today's show, I want to tell you what we got coming up on the show. We're going to break down the fallout behind Dave Chappelle's recent Netflix special. Also, we're going to talk about the John Gruden situation as he resigned as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And also, we are going to talk about something that is very controversial on this show today. It's called cancel culture. We're taking a deep dive into life issues here on today's show. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at A to Z for Skin and Hair. A to Z for Skin and Hair offers a bevy of hair and skin products that have no preservatives and are made with love. Like their rice water, which is used to promote healthy, strong growth of the hair and prevent dandruff. Their moisturizing hair butter, which is used for everyday styling. Their rapid growth, which is a perfect mix of all natural oils, and their gang beard oil, which I put on every day, even before we start recording the show. To contact A to Z Skin and Hair to find out more about their products, give them a call at 469-674-5567 and tell them the crew at Notes by Notes sent you. All right, y'all, let's get it popping. Let's go!
You've heard of hot takes, and you're probably tired of hearing the same old talking heads repeating the same stuff over and over again. The time has come for the game to evolve, and just like in sports, there are a select number of individuals who are leading the evolution of change and pushing the game forward. This isn't just a sports podcast. This podcast is about how life, culture, and sports all meet at one intersection. This is the new wave. This is the new sound. This is the evolution. This is Notes by Notes.
All right, folks, we are back. Thank you for watching Notes by Notes. This is season 3, episode 7. Yo, we're 7
already
episodes in.
It's been a long week.
It has. It has. It's been 7. God dang, we started August 28th, and now it's October 22nd. We're recording this. By the way, I did want to preface the show because a lot of our watchers and listeners watch the show on Saturday morning. We drink responsibly, okay?
Yeah.
This show's recorded on Friday night. I do want to preface, the whole podcast. Like, you may see us with our drink, but we do ask you to drink responsibly. We're not up here at 9 o'clock doing this.
I sleep right here. Like lay it out, like move the microphones. It's my spot. I live here now. Occasionally. I cook breakfast, though. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. So, yeah, it's good.
Kelly has some bomb-ass French toast, by the way.
Use banana bread. It's the tits. Way to go. I promise.
You know me, I just bring the condiments, the plates and the cups. That's all. That's my weekly contribution. I'm not cooking nothing.
I'm not doing dishes.
Hey, look. I'm not doing dishes either. We might as well just tell my daughter Liv to hook that up.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm not putting my wife through no labor on a Saturday morning. I'm just letting you know.
And she's such a gracious host. When I came in today, she was like, AP, you want these Skittles? Like, hey, man, this is the place to be, guys. This is the place to be.
No lie. That was like the first thing she said when AP walked in. Hey, AP, you want some Skittles?
She didn't even mention Skittles. I got a bucket. Like a bucket? Like not even a little bit. I got a bucket of candy. Like elbow deep. Get some. I'm like, okay.
She wasn't even tripping about sharing. I was like, okay, I see you, little girl. I see you.
She treats y'all better than she treats her parents because, we asked for some candy.
Nah.
Why you want my candy? Can't you go buy your own candy? Like, nah, Daddy, this is my candy. I'm like, okay, bet. So when I have my candy, don't be asking me for my candy. Mm-hmm. But it's okay. Halloween's right around the corner. So, I mean, super excited about that. Y'all got any plans going on? Any Halloween parties that you're hitting up? Any bar crawls or whatever?
We're going to something called Pumpkin Nights around like Palmer and 35. And, like, it's one of those things. It's definitely a girlfriend trip. Yeah. Usually go to Pumpkins. We're going to some pumpkin festival tomorrow, but next weekend the only slot left was 9:30 p.m. on Halloween night. So I knew I had to get it. And they have like a 60-foot pumpkin dragon. I mean, the thing is exceptional. If you get a chance, just Google and look at the photos. Like, I would do that pumpkin trip every time.
A 60-foot pumpkin dragon. I just want to make sure I heard you right.
You heard it right. Look online.
Dragon.
It's outlandish, and it's just a whole maze of pumpkins and different kind of sculptures, things built out. Somebody got way too bored and realized people love Halloween. You know what? I'm gonna tap into that market, and they nailed it. So I'll have more feedback here in 2 weeks, so we'll let you know. But
well, hey man, let me know how that goes, because that sounds like hella fun, and I would love to live to something like that and experience that for myself. That's like one of those trips that, it's not really for the kid.
Yeah.
You think about them, but it's not. It's
Take my daughter with me.
Yeah, I'm going to take my daughter with me.
But as an adult, that's impressive. Like,
Yeah.
that's artwork. I mean, it's legit. From online. Now, we all know we've seen photos of Big Macs online.
Yeah.
Big Macs, like, ooh, they look good.
Yeah.
You get them in real person, like, what is
They be
this?
slick.
What is this?
I want my $3 back.
Patty be on the outside of the box. Sir, before you leave, we forgot the top button.
Yeah.
It's like,
The sesame seed
The
button.
sesame seed button. That's the most important aspect of this burger.
hey, why is there special sauce on it? I'm at Burger King. You don't want special sauce? What is this?
For sure.
Oh, man. AP, what you got going on for Halloween?
Man, we keep, me and the missus, shout out to Bay, I love you. We keep going back and forth about doing something. We both got a little bit of family in the area. We don't really want to go nuts. So we were thinking about maybe doing a little kickback. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, if that's the route we go, y'all are more than welcome. I know you got pumpkin
thank
nights
God.
and all that.
I was like,
No,
hold on.
for sure. Fam got to be with fam.
For
So
sure.
yeah, ideally we do something small. You know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy. Break in the casa. We literally moved in the year before COVID, and we was like, we're gonna give it some time. We're not gonna not doing a housewarming, not doing nothing. And our plan was to 4th of July, 2020, go nuts, have a big party.
And then
COVID
boom.
hit. So we haven't done anything. So if this goes as planned, this will be our first gathering at the house. So I'm excited about it.
yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know. Pull up.
Thank you. I love that.
Y'all not invited.
Y'all ain't invited. Because we don't just be giving out our addresses on this show here. You know what I'm saying?
555
We're kind of big time.
Cherry
We don't
Lane.
need y'all. We got drinks. We got French toast. We don't need y'all.
Nah. We do love y'all. We love y'all to watch, but if y'all want to kick it, we might have to do a public show every once in a while. Well, y'all, Halloween, we definitely got to do something here in the studio. I don't know about y'all, but if y'all want to wear costumes, masks, whatever, because the Friday before Halloween, that's when we would do, the show. So
Yep.
I think that would be dope. Me and Joe actually did that last year. I was Dak Prescott, and he was Tiger King. He was Joe Exotic. No
How
lie.
appropriate.
No lie. Yeah, it was so funny. And he won a award at his old network because of his costume.
Tight. I could see that doing. I could see us doing that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Got to be sports related. So I'm thinking what can be offensive and sports related. And on that token, what's our first topic, Jay?
Oh, man. Oh,
Let's go.
I love the
Speaking of
segue.
which,
Yeah,
what
segue.
let's go ahead and dive into the show. Because this is going to be, I would say, so this is our 7th episode. We've done 6. We've touched on sports. We have touched on culture. Now I think it's important and imperative for us to touch on life, because that's what the Notes by Notes podcast has always been about. It's life, culture, and sports, where everything coincides and intersects. So, of course, everybody knows what has happened with Dave Chappelle, and we're going to be kind of lengthy with this topic. I'm just going to be honest. I'm fine with doing that, and we get into the other topics a little bit later. But it's crazy the irony that is the irony that is behind this whole entire special. Like, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and let me preface this: I love everybody. I don't have a discriminatory bone in my body. I don't even think it could be in my DNA because of my personal makeup. My parents. My mom is black. My dad was white. Might be some Native American back in there. I don't know. But I'm mixed with a lot of stuff. So I know I'm just not black. But so I just want to say, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I love everybody. There's no discrimination in this studio whatsoever. None of us have those views. But when I look at the Dave Chappelle special, I feel like the irony behind it and the outlash or the fallout that he's been receiving is somewhat unnecessary. And the reason why I say that is because the genre that he is in, it's to be expected what's about to go down, right? I mean, it's comedy. When there's comedy, you talk about essentially everybody, right? And it's not to be a jab or a stab at anyone, you know? It's not to be anything like that. What it's meant to be is it's to be funny. It's supposed to be comical. It's supposed to be all of those things. So for me, the fallout behind the whole entire thing is it's confusing. Because when you look at Netflix as a company, there have been other situations to where those employees could have walked out of that building easily. There's been several documented situations in the Netflix headquarters where employees could have been like, yo, this isn't right. I'm walking out. I can't tell you how many comedians have done the same on that same exact platform and they never walked out. Mm-hmm. And this is just a personal attack on Dave Chappelle because of his track record with that certain community, right?
Yep.
He's talked about it. He's been very vocal about it. And when it comes to Dave Chappelle, I don't think that people should be so quick to cancel him because he like AP said, I believe 2 weeks ago, last time we did the show, he eloquently stated his issues. There wasn't any subliminal messages in his message. He was very direct. And he even ended the special with some directness. He went after the people that he was talking about. So it's confusing to me. And the outrage and the fallout behind it, I just don't understand it. And I feel like there's a level of hypocrisy to it. Mm-hmm. So for you guys, AP, because I want to hear from your perspective too. I know the people want to hear from your perspective too. How did this land for you?
Well, let's talk about it. Like I explained to the fellas when I saw it. So straight up, and if you guys were watching, you are supreme followers of the show, you would have caught on episode 1. Episode 1, I believe, maybe it was 2. I think it was episode 1 though.
We talked about comedians, right?
To go.
Yep.
We talked about our top 5s in terms of comedians and stuff like that. It was a background conversation that we all had, and we all agreed. Dave Chappelle, goated. He's definitely up there. He definitely deserves all the accolades as it pertains to comedy. Let's get into the special. Now, like I told the guys, I feel like I have a unique perspective because when we talk about lenses, we have to talk about, you know, where you fall at and how these things impact you.
Right.
So not just as, you know, like a viewer or not just as, you know, like, so for me, let me speak for me. You guys are men, you know, black man, white man, men, right? I'm a woman first. That's when you see me, that's something undeniable. I can't change. I mean, technically, I guess I could based off of what Dave was saying. but I'm a woman, I'm a black woman, and I'm a gay woman. Mm-hmm. Right? So when I look at these when I look at it, I'm not just looking at it as a person, you know, watching a comedy show. That is what I'm doing for the entertainment piece. But when I'm listening, the different parts of me that are being impacted, I'm looking at it in these 3 different lenses, if you could. So me as a lesbian, I would have to say was probably the least offended. And again, I don't classify as trans anything. I'm 100% woman. It's all ladies here. It's all lady in this package. For those of you guys who's wondering, this beanie don't stop no flow. Okay, so I know these guys get sick of me, but it's all lady here, right? At the end of the day, I can't be trans anything as it pertains to my race. I'm gonna be black all day. So the black person, not offended. The black woman and the core of that being the woman. I would say that as a black woman, I probably walked away from that special being most offended from that lens. And only because I felt like with all of the banter, with all of the, everything that he was saying, I feel like he made comments about people finding him, as sexist or him hating women. And I think that he had several opportunities to kind of clean that up, which I think he did so well as it pertained to like the transsexual comments, as it pertained to just comedy as a whole, and him addressing all the things that historically we have had a problem with. But I think that every opportunity he had to clean it up, as hey, I love women, even to the point of saying like, hey, he spoke highly of his wife, you know what I mean? But every chance that he got to kind of clear it up as it pertains to not just women but black women, I feel like there was a ball drop. And I mean, Dave Chappelle is a man. He doesn't have to ride for women, but one of the hashtags, one of the things in culture right now, especially in light of like the Breonna Taylors and the Sandra Blands, protect black women. I think that is something that he failed to do. And I don't know, it disappointed me. I'm not going to cancel him. He's still going to be, one of my tops. I feel like it doesn't take away from the artistry. Art is an imitation of life. And this is just his form. This is his way of speaking about the things that impact him and how. And that's my take on it. I'm not canceling Dave, but I did have a little sting when I walked away from it.
I got you. Hey, that's understandable, I think. Yeah, I mean, we all have different opinions and points of views on it, and that's why you can always come together and, congregate and converse about it. K-Dot, what you got?
Well put, AP. And AP, when you told me that, kind of planting that seed, and when I'm watching it, he's just bitch a lot. Bitch and bitches. It's like, man, I'm not sure if it would have, like, really come across if you not said that prior. So it's all reshaping perspective, right? And as far as perspective goes, like, I'm white, and one of the last things he says is like, I hate white people.
I'm sorry, that's so funny.
No. And the thing is, like, I'm not mad. It's a generalization, and that's the thing we have to keep in mind. One of his best friends in this world and co-writer for Half Baked and Chappelle's Show is Neil Brennan. It's a generalization. So in that same topic, we have to think about like looking at people as a whole instead of like narrowing down. Jay, you said when you first started, you don't hate anyone. I do. I mean, not hate. Hate's a strong word because it takes a lot of effort.
Strongly dislike.
I strongly dislike people in general. There's no rhyme or reason. Yeah. There's no race, gender, or anything else associated with it. I hate ratchet-ass people. And then it comes in all shapes and sizes and ages. I've seen some punk-ass 9-year-olds. Like, what? So, here nor there. But on that same token, you look at like the people that are upset about the whole thing. Okay, they're transgender. Now, this whole piece felt like his whole stand-up felt like a kind of retracted to what he did last time. He's trying to make right and do better by the people that were upset. Now, you look at the percentage of people. A small percentage of people forget that a comedian is there to tell jokes, right? And they operate within the parameters and with their certain level of leniency, what they're allowed to do, right? And I would guess out of the community, maybe 20% or less are upset. And as for the whole population, maybe 2% or less are upset. As a comedian, telling jokes is what it is. If you don't like the joke, you move on. But at the end of the day, you understand it's a comedian on a stage getting paid to tell jokes. Right? There's no hate. It's not from a bad place. And I wonder, maybe was it premeditated? Because he basically said outright, like, I won't be doing one for a while.
Yeah. This going to be it for a minute,
Yeah,
y'all.
but he already knows. He's paid. He's the GOAT. He got that Netflix contract. He's set. He has nothing left to prove. But the thing that baffles me most is what he asked, and he talked about the irony of the whole thing, is what he asked at the end, is give my people, meaning black people, the same energy, that same energy you have getting mad about the transgender community. Why does it not come our way?
Yeah.
And it can't be for lack of effort, because you're talking about a few thousand or a few hundred Netflix employees. You look at Black Lives Matter and that movement, everything that they did, and you're not getting that same energy. It's some bullshit. Like you said, there's so many other examples. Why is this the one we're focused on? And the only thing I can think of is maybe it's because it was premeditated. He wanted to be focused on that. He wanted to bring it to light because, if anything, there's no bad press in the light of comedy. If you're being talked about and you're trying to make a statement,
it's great.
We're talking about it now. Everybody is
talking about
right.
it.
And if he's canceled, you think he gives a shit? Dave's paid. He's got generational wealth. His next 3 generations are set. So this all it takes is to maybe hang back for 5 years and chill out with his wife. Good on him.
Yeah.
So I think it was perfectly played in a lot of aspects. And again, thank you for bringing to light something I wouldn't have thought about going into it. But like, there's certain ways he could have done it maybe a little differently. But for a particular, very, very small percentage of the world community, he made sure things were right by them.
Right.
And if they weren't, they're looking for a reason to be mad. And so many times in this conversation, I wanted to use my one F-bomb for the show, but I'm not going to.
1 a quarter. 1 a quarter.
I'm going to save it.
I already used mine. So,
But point being, in comedy, the thing is, it reminds me back to there was a roast, and they made jokes about Paul Walker, and Ludacris got visibly upset because he worked together on the set too soon. But they asked another comedian, he's like, what do you think? Like, and he basically said, F Ludacris. This is comedy for comedians. There's a time and place to make these jokes, and this is it. If you don't like it, then don't watch the show.
yeah.
And that's the same, the satirical clause. You're allowed to make certain jokes based on satire. It's protected by a certain clause. I mean, if you're looking for, political or social advice, maybe don't go to a comedy show.
Right.
To try and find it, right?
Exactly.
Hey, he's trying to make us laugh about the irony and the terrible situations we're in and how, one side of things are from time to time. And I think he did a fantastic job of bringing that to light.
Yeah.
100%. And I kind of want to circle back to what AP said and also what you said, K-Dot, because I do believe, politics should not be in comedy. 100%. If you're coming to a comedy show for politics or political advice, you're in the wrong spot. If you're coming for morality support or you feel like you're beyond being roasted, you don't need to come because that's what comedians do. Like you said, that's the art form that they choose, right? Also, I did want to talk about the black women aspect. You opened my eyes to that. I didn't even realize.
That's why I'm here, guys. That's why I get paid the big bucks to click these buttons and use this mouthpiece.
Wait, she gets paid?
What?
My bad,
What?
Jay. I ain't gonna tell her.
No,
My
no,
bad, Jay.
no. Hold on, wait. Financials on the show. Come on,
And I get paid in trident layers.
look.
I'm taking
Okay,
that Dak Prescott poster and I'm out.
look. So Joe started a campaign called #PayJoe. If that comes alive again, heads are gonna roll. Goddamn it, because I'm broke, man. I ain't got no money. No, I'm playing.
Hey, every paycheck I put a little change into a Jordan shoebox, and it has a big white sticker on the top that says J's for Joe. So Joe, I care. Joe, I don't know about them, Joe. I care.
Oh my God! See, now y'all about to start something. You want to be starting something?
Hey,
you want to be starting?
Joe's getting a pair of mids or a pair of twos. That's it.
I'm gonna get him. Bro, I'm getting him them Shacks from Walmart that look like J's, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't see the knee bent.
Yeah, Shaq dunking on somebody. But yeah, I want to circle back to the black woman and also politics and comedy. So I never looked at it from that point of view whatsoever, and I'm man enough to admit maybe that's a fault of mine, right? Mm-hmm. Me and my wife got this thing going on right now. It's like self-reflection. Self-reflection is important, As AP said it, I was like, yo, I missed that because I'm not worried about that point of view. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about something I can relate to. I think that's where we fail a lot of the times. But also, the irony in that, you could say with that same community that's upset, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
So if I'm man enough to admit right now and say, yo, I totally didn't see it from that point of view, that community should be able to say, yo, y'all been saying all this about Dave. I had no idea. I had no idea that he had a best friend, like a comedian who was one of his good friends in San Diego or somewhere in California, San Fran, and she ended up killing herself, and she idolized him. Mm-hmm. No, and she was trans. Nobody ever talked about that. Like it's like nobody's trying to see from the lens that he is coming from, and the irony behind. What's crazy is he told the story about Daphne. He was like, this is who she was. This is how she is. And she killed herself. And he said he doesn't know if it was because of the support that she had for him that the transgender community came after her because of that. He doesn't know. Like he's like in between a spot.
Yeah.
But he feels like that could be part of it. And that's the unfortunate part.
That's the definition of a closed-minded.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is to a T. I mean, you got to open up a bit. I mean, there are some great areas, and you got to learn when to laugh.
Right.
Be humble,
Yeah. Be humble.
as K-Dot would say.
It's K-Dot. There you go.
I think that
I gotta get you a shirt with that one on.
I think that it's that fine line. It's
Yeah.
when we talk about art being a lot like imitation of life. I think that there is this line. There is this balance beam that comedians have to walk, and I think that for a very long time, and I remember years ago, I want to say, who was it? Oh gosh, he's kind of big now. Oh man, is it Dion? Not Dion.
Oh, Deion Cole.
Not Deion Cole. It's another guy. I can't think of his name. He's like he got the light eyes. He's real like bright skin, like sandy color hair. But he was doing a stand up and he was
know who
like,
you're talking about.
"It's just comedy.
Yeah.
It's just comedy." And that was like the whole slogan for like the thing. But he was saying the most offensive shit the entire set, right? He
Yeah.
was literally calling out people in the audience, and he was like going for their neck, right? And so his whole thing was like, relax, it's just comedy.
Yeah.
So like that was his whole set, and I cannot think of it. If you could please find it, and I can't think of his name.
I know
But
the guy that you're talking about.
he's popular.
He's
He was a
done-
Martin.
Wait,
He's done shows with Lunel too, right?
Lunel. Yep. Give me a name. He's worked with Martin on Martin shows, and he's mainstream now. He's a big guy. But anyway, while we digress, I want to say that the same grace that we want to give Dave in this aspect, in terms of like seeing it objectively, seeing it from his lens. I will say that saying what I feel and only seeing it, being able to see it as a black woman. You know what I mean? I think that I'm not trans.
Right.
So what I can say, and what I will go on record to say, is that as a trans individual, I can't speak to the offense that was taken from the comments.
Right.
Now, I can speak to the care that I feel like Dave Chappelle took in avoiding that.
Yeah.
Especially since his whole segue into the set was like, hey guys, hey, I'm letting y'all know right now, I'm about to address everything that's been said over the last 5 specials, right? Before I walk away, and I'm gonna be gone for a while. He knew.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. And I think that as an artist, especially a good artist, somebody who knows what's up, he knew that there was going to be backlash. He was prepared for it. He said it in the first minutes of the set, like, hey guys, like, this the last y'all gonna see of me for a whole minute. So I'm gonna lay it all out here, and y'all gonna have to just do what y'all do. So I'm not surprised. We were talking about earlier that he didn't show up to any of the, he's not gonna take the opportunity. Like, it's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
He's not gonna take an opportunity to clean it up. He said what he said.
Yeah.
And he meant what he said.
Perfectly put. And like we talked, I think 2 weeks ago, it's kind of off topic before I even watched it, and you kind of prefaced and kind of gave me a heads up of what to expect out of the stand-up. Is one thing that he does that most comedians don't is take some accountability.
Yeah.
Now, did he perfect it? No. I mean, you can't apologize for everything. You're a comedian, just let jokes be jokes sometimes, right?
Let it there.
But he took some accountability, and people were upset. He didn't have to do that. He went out of his way to film a special for Netflix to do this, right? Mm-hmm. So, but one thing he said, and we like to focus on the bad and focus on why people were upset. But what he said, first and foremost, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand your plight. I never will. Mm-hmm. I will never get it. Here's my thoughts on it, right? Is some of it offensive? Yes, but he flat out said, I don't get it. And it takes a certain level of human being to admit, because this day and age, we all want to pretend like we understand other people's plights, because it feels like the nice thing to do. We're too scared to flat out say, I don't get it, and listen. We want to say, I get it. I know what you've been through, so we don't have to hear your story.
I feel
That's some bullshit.
I feel you,
no,
Kelly.
you don't. Yeah, that's just it. You don't. Learn when to shut up and listen. And that's what more or less what he's saying. Now, he didn't open up the discussion because, as a comedian, you're on the stage with the mic.
Exactly.
But he basically saying, I'm leaving this open for discussion because I don't understand what you're going through. Here's how I feel, however you feel. But also, he's asking for the same respect for the black community.
Well said.
So you just said that. I want to piggyback off of that, because here's how I feel about saying I don't understand. Saying I don't understand, is a time where others should help one understand. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a cry for help in a sense. It's like, hey, look, I've been trying. Help me. Help me understand. I don't think that that's a bad approach.
Help
right?
me help you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't think that that's a bad stance. I think it will, black people, right? In 2020, 2021, hell, before that, we've been talking about understand our plight. Understand our plight. And in 2020, you had a lot of allies that say, yo, what is it? Like,
Right.
What is it?
What can
Tell
I
me
do to help?
Exactly. What can I do? And I think from both sides in this scenario, Dave Chappelle is crying out for help. Okay, so that community should embrace that. Hey, look, Dave, like, I love you, man. I think that you're awesome, but I don't agree with your stance on this. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the thing is that when you are ignorant, you lack information. It's that simple. It's easy math.
Yeah.
If you don't know, then you're never going to know. What did Ice Cube say in Boys in the Hood? Either they don't know
Or they don't show.
Or they don't show. Right? So same applies to right now in this scenario. And it's just someone saying I don't understand should be an open invitation for them to interject and say, well, let me teach you, let me educate you, let me inform you. You know, and if people were more willing to do that and to open up and really show love, you know what I'm saying? Because really, when you're passive and you're like, I don't want to talk to you, I'm canceling you, ain't nobody gonna get through to here. When you open yourself up and you show love and you're like, yo, I love you, I want you to love me too. Okay, bet we can move forward, right? I mean,
he used his platform perfectly because you look at the amount of things we have between Kaepernick, police brutality, all the injustice, all the fights, all the marches. And all it took was a handful of people getting upset over a stand-up special and never having this conversation. That's all it took for a very tiny percentage of the population. And again, I'm not just counting them, but if you look at the numbers, you know, what needs more attention? The larger group, right? So Dave used his platform perfectly to bring this to attention. So if he has to offend and apologize to a fraction of the percent of the population, so be it if it brings this to light. So good on him.
I agree. 100%.
The guy, and this above all else is why he's the GOAT, because he is making social changes, or at least
Thank
trying
you.
to.
Kelly,
He's seeing our way, AP.
it's the velvet in him, man.
Was good.
Kelly, I gotta tell you, man. I gotta tell you, and honestly, that is probably the greatest synopsis there.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like what has not been said is that through the controversy is coming conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now Dave Chappelle may not come to the table. He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He did what he set out to do.
He made the table.
He set the table. Yep.
He set the table. He put the plates at it, right?
The invites are out.
He brought us to the table, and I think that, and I'm sorry for those of you guys who are kind of anti right now, but I think that the irony in it, which is what we started talking about, and the hypocrisy in it, is that in reality, it's due to him. It's due to the conversation that he started on that stage by making all these comments, by making jokes, whatever. It opens up a deeper dive into what's going on. It has us talking about on a sports primary podcast about how the trans community is being impacted by the statements that are being made. And it's not just by, you cannot look at this conversation and think that we're talking about just what Dave Chappelle is saying, right? It's deeper than Dave Chappelle getting up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are definitely, they're fighting for rights. They're trying to, find their way in this new world. It's ever changing. You know what I mean? And none of us are qualified.
Yeah.
We're not qualified to lead that charge or have that conversation. Dave Chappelle's not qualified to lead that conversation. You know what I mean? But it opens it up for the people who are qualified to stand in the gap and to, like you said, like me personally, I'm not here to educate nobody about the Black experience. I can only educate you about April's experience.
Yeah.
And that's where my expertise begins and ends, right? But at the end of the day, I think that it's good.
Yeah.
It's doing more good than the people's feelings that it hurt in the moment.
Right.
So K-Dog, give me a little pound on that, brother.
There
I
we
appreciate
go.
that, man.
There we go.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
it's all it's all love, like, and that's why I want to start the podcast that way, because I don't want people to think that, like, I kind of stand where Dave is. I'm like, I don't understand either. I've been like that my whole life. I've never understood it. And as I've got older and I got wiser, you know what I'm saying? And I started asking questions and started, hell, I talk a lot. Y'all know that. I ask a lot of questions. Y'all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when I started doing that, it started opening my mind up to different perspectives. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as we can all have different perspectives, maybe agree, maybe disagree on something, and we can just recover and be good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what life is about. That's the beautiful thing about life, And again, I don't want, please don't cancel us. Please don't cancel us. Look, we love everybody. As you can see, like, I'm mixed. I have a black guy. I don't want to say nothing offensive here in this. What do I say? Like, L word?
I'm a black woman.
You're a black woman.
I'm a black woman
Strong
before
black
anything
woman.
else.
Black woman. I'll take that.
I'm a black woman before anything else.
Well,
That's what I can't strip off. I can't change those things.
I love that, man. That's because I told somebody else the other day, it's like unapologetically. You have to be unapologetically who you are. Every time.
It's tolerance, not taste.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta like it.
Exactly.
Just let me be me, dog.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you be you. I'm gonna let you be you. Let Dave be Dave.
Let Dave be
tolerance,
Dave.
not taste. You might not like the way it tastes when you. It might get a little dry. It might get a little dry in the throat, in the esophageal
Hey,
area.
I almost wonder. We talk about me and the goat. I almost wonder. I don't want to give him too much credit, but if this is all put together, this is a master plan. The Sticks and Stones, that last special he had, was throwing the bait in the water, right?
It was.
They took the bait. He reeled it in with this new special.
The layup.
Yep, he took it in. He's like, I got you now.
Alley-oop.
Told you what's up. Put you back in the ocean where you belong. And he goes off in the sunset.
Yeah.
Riding high, right? And
It's crazy.
It's methodical, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe it worked out that way. But, I mean, he's done so many specials over the years. Why not have a 1-2, cause and reaction? I think he knows society well enough, and the reactions he's seen over the last 20 years of doing this, he knew it was going to come.
Yeah.
He knew it was built up. That's why he was so apologetic and coming out front, like, tail between his legs. My bad.
Yeah.
And said his piece.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But either way, I laughed.
I laughed. But also I walked away from that, and we'll get to John Gruden here in a second. I did laugh, but I didn't want it to be at the expense of other people's feelings. Like he even said, he's like, yo, I'm not here to hurt people's feelings. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
But
like that hurts my heart.
You got to be able to laugh at yourself sometimes,
Yeah.
right? I mean, as long as it's within reason.
He said we should all, Joe Rogan said it too, we should all be able to make fun of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're not all perfect. And I understand that. Like, I know I got a crooked grill. Like, I used to wear braces. It's still crooked. You know what I'm saying?
Me too, Jay.
I got the get. Oh, yeah.
I got mine off at 18. At 18.
I actually got mine on at 19.
Well, now.
I was late to the party. I had to
Hey.
pay for my braces.
I went into my adult life. I missed my braces, though, when I took them off. So.
Yeah, I kind of did too. You have to do the whole, licking your teeth thing. You're like, no metal on my mouth for the
Something is
past.
weird.
This is strange.
This food tastes different. These sodas taste hella different.
You can actually bite into a burger for the first time, Oh, that was the pits.
I had a lisp at 6, and you hear how fast I talk. Can you imagine with a lisp? It's bad. It's
Wow.
real bad. Yeah. Had a little.
They're like, Kelly, what's that word? Mississippi.
M I crooked letter I crooked letter I.
Oh, you was bad, man.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, again, that was good opening to the show. This is a perfect segue here because some recent news hit in the NFL regarding, and this is the irony behind this. The NFL was investigating the Washington football team inadvertently.
Alley-oop.
There were some emails leaked that John Gruden had sent to several members in the NFL's corporate offices, also the commissioner and other some of the 32 NFL owners that are in the league right now. So John Gruden decided to resign as a head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. And it seems like there is more to the story that meets the eye. When I saw this come across the ticker, number one, the first word I thought about was Washington football team, you're disgusting. That was the word. I was like, you're disgusting. Because I've been talking about this for the past 12 months. I was like, there's nothing that this organization can do. And I'm not talking about the players, the coaches, none of that are presently on this roster. I am specifically pointing my finger at Daniel Snyder and Bruce Allen. 100%.
Dirty dogs.
Dirty. And not only get this, they are still running a toxic culture. Not only did they do that, they literally scapegoated John Gruden.
Yeah.
In the process, a guy who had his team riding high in the AFC West, one of the best teams in the NFL up until a couple of weeks ago, and he resigns. Mm-hmm. Talk about dirt. Talk about tea. This is some strong tea. Look, there is something left to be uncovered in this whole entire situation. There is something that is going to come out and is going to be massive. Derek Carr went on record and said, hey, you pop John Gruden's emails open. Why don't you pop everybody else's open? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, you want to open up Pandora's box? Hey. Like, do we really want to do that? I mean, how did that land for you guys? Kata, how did it land for you?
650,000 emails to sort through.
Jesus.
All they got was John Gruden. So an old white man says racist shit. Imagine my complete lack of surprise. I'm just saying. Like, this is... I saw it. I'm like, yeah, sounds right. It was zero surprise on my end.
Sounds white.
I was surprised. I was surprised it came to light. Now, knowing it's on the coattails of the Washington football team, for the sake of this conversation, just call them what they were at the time, the Redskins.
Yeah.
Covering their ass. The whole story is there was a private investigator that was, researching their emails for other reasons. It came across this. But the thing that baffles me above all else is ESPN is bad-mouthing Gruden for emails he sent while he was employed by ESPN. Right. How does that make sense? Like, y'all turned a blind eye? Like, he wasn't even the coach at the time. He had no affiliation with the NFL. So if he's a scapegoat, so be it. And if there's more to fall behind him, so be it. Yeah. Better for the sport. But out of 650,000 emails, I can't imagine what's in there. The only thing that really brings me any kind of reason for caution or concern is if they leak every bit of those emails, all 650,000, and they out player after player and coach and owner, everybody else, will it affect the numbers even a little bit? Because how little do fans care about what happens in the NFL unless you have a video, unless it's Ray Rice and you can put a actual visual to it because there's been people that come out and admit things, but unless you were charged with an actual crime, do people really give a shit?
Right.
That's what's alarming. Because at the end of the day, it's just a game. But is it? I mean,
yeah.
The thing is, you're buying jerseys, you're funding that, and you're contributing to that cause. So, I mean, this is just another thing to add on to the whole just hierarchy that is the NFL. And it's a $12 billion annual industry, not even including the money they make from side bets and DraftKings and everything else. That's just profitability. We love it. We talk about it every week.
Yep. That's true. That's why this podcast exists.
But I mean, Gruden, the thing is, I'm not surprised by Gruden. I'm surprised it's just Gruden.
Yeah.
What else? Give me a new episode every week. I want a new person every week outed, put on the table, whether it be assistant coaches, whether it be a player, a punter. I don't care. Give me something.
The NFL.
I know it's there. 650,000 emails, Jay. Come on.
The NFL is the Squid Game.
Licking honeycomb.
Licking honeycomb, everything. It's a Squid Game. Red light, green light. Man, I 100%.
And the old man is Jerry Jones.
Oh, dude, you know it. He's like
shady. I run it the whole time. Yeah. You know he was. You knew he was.
No, don't tell me I haven't finished. I know it. God.
You hadn't finished it?
No.
Oh.
He didn't tell.
Just don't tell my wife.
He didn't tell you anything.
We didn't talk about that before this.
No spoilers was presented here today.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to finish it. I'm still going to be excited. I can't lie every single time. It doesn't matter if I rewatch an episode. My heart is literally
the whole time.
And I'm just like, especially a tug of war. Dude. 90 feet or something like that? Like, nah, bro. You got me bent. I'm leaving.
Nah, I'm not doing tug of war above 5 feet over a swimming pool. You feel me?
For real.
Yeah.
Nah.
It better be lukewarm water too.
Yeah.
Nothing cold. 38 degrees? Nah, I'm out.
Nah, bro.
Nah,
Nah.
man.
Barton Springs pool is too cold. Mm-mm.
Nah, you had me at slaps. Nah, we're not playing this game. Because it's a problem. I'm slapping your back. I don't care if I flip the card.
Oh, yeah. You already know.
Backhand
100%.
too. Backhand.
Backhand from the pocket.
Disrespect.
So,
I didn't see it. I know you didn't.
So, AP, what you think about the John Gruden situation?
You know, John, I think that. All right, so here we go. Let me dive in. I just feel like, and I exactly what Kelly is saying, what K-Dot is saying. I definitely, my thing is that, like, I have this saying, if I'm gonna, what they say, if someone is talking to you about someone else, then what is that person saying about you, right? So, like, in my mind, like, that's always a thing for me, first and foremost. So, if John Gruden is having this conversation with somebody, there's no way that he's sitting there having this conversation like, oh, this tire lip and blah, blah, blah. And this person's just like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
There's no way that there's no banter. There's no back and forth. Like there is a culture of systemic something going on there. You know what I mean? And realistically, when we look at like John Gruden, he's 58. I mean, segregation ended 57 years ago. So the probability of him being racist is pretty high. You know what I mean? He was born before the stuff ended. So, I mean, realistically, and that's not against all people. I think that there's some people that was on the right side of change.
Right.
However, there's some people that were not. And there's some people that told that line, that might say, you know what, hey, I got a black best friend. And then there was some people that was like, hey, but he still can't come to my house for dinner. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it's some things that we got to look at that's deeper than football here. And then when we start talking about like the sexist comments, the nude photos and everything else that was going on, like, yeah, like I'm with Jay, like the Washington staff, like it's crazy that something is being investigated somewhere else on the other side of town. And then like Gruden becomes the fall guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like part of me wants to feel bad for the old fella. And honestly, I think I read somewhere where like people were like, honestly, like had he not resigned, like he'd probably be fine. Like there's definitely been worse to happen for players. I mean, Incognito. Everything I read is always referencing back to, I want to say I'm saying that. I hope I'm saying that right. Richie Incognito.
Yeah.
Richie Incognito. I mean, his accusations when he was an actual player, redonkulous.
Yeah.
Dude took a year off. He's been injured every season since. He was a top draft pick, but at the end of the day, I mean, dude ain't really. I mean, he's good at his job, but I mean, he's not really effective, and he doesn't have a great track record as far as like performance when he's on the field, from my understanding. Now, granted, I'm not the stats guy, but I mean, he's a Raider now. Yeah. So it does lead to question, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought the Patriots were the people that picked up the trash. You know what I'm saying?
Here's one thing I can circle back to that I remember vividly that John Gruden and the GM, Mike Mayock, said whenever they first became head coach and general manager. They said, we want to get good culture guys. You sign Richie Incognito, it's not that great of a culture. You got Vontaze Burfict, it's not that great of a culture. You sign Antonio Brown, we know what that turned into.
Okay,
That's
but
not
who
that
got
great of a culture?
Who was convicted? Who was suspended? That's what it comes down to, is what can you prove?
Yeah.
Accusations don't mean anything in this world anymore.
Yeah.
Not
in
in the
this
world of the
league,
NFL.
at least.
Accusations. Greg Hardy threw a woman down on a bed of guns and threatened her life.
Yeah. Oh, that was in Dallas. Not Dallas. That was in Carolina before he came to Dallas.
Yeah, and they're like, wait, he wasn't convicted? Come play for Dallas. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, Jerry Jones is Captain Save-A.
Save a bro.
Yeah, Save-A bro. Save-A bro for sure. But I mean, when I look at this situation, I just think that whenever you look at any of these owners. I mean, just think about Urban Meyer, right? Urban Meyer got caught up in some stuff, right? These coaches are, some of them are like that, some of them aren't. I mean, the vast majority aren't, but some of them are scumbags. Some of them can be your worst nightmare. Whether it comes to sexuality, race, whatever it is, and let's, mind you, Carl Nassib is the first active NFL player, or is the second player to come out in the NFL. Michael Sam was the first, but first actual active with more than, I believe, 25 games registered in the NFL. So with that guy being on your team, and what's crazy is the reports coming out of Las Vegas was Carl Nassib was like grieving.
His supporter.
He was like, yo, you said this about like it. We were, you know, it's a messy situation. It points to what the NFL culture can be sometimes from time to time. Mm-hmm. I mean, what the Washington football team has been for the better part of 21 years since Daniel Snyder took the job or bought the Washington football team. But honestly, like, there's more. That's why the NFL doesn't want to release any more information, because they understand that the culture is not just one team, like AP said. They understand that it's not just one organization. They get it. They know that it's probably in every franchise to some degree.
Yeah.
But it's just not prevalent. It's not apparent. It's hard to detect. So with all those emails, they're like, yo, if these get out, it's not going to be so hard to detect anymore, because everybody's going to know. Everything's going to be on Front Street. So they're just, saving face at this point.
Here's the thing, too, is in any job, any walk of life, these emails, I mean, he did within the organization from coach to executive or GM. But we all have private thoughts, private emails, private texts, right? That we want to keep private for whatever reason. I say shit about, work. I don't want work to see.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason it may be, you have your private conversations. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but if they're wrong, you want to keep that away from work, right? If you can separate your personal bullshit and whatever racist, homophobe, whatever you're thinking, if you can go into work and treat everybody with respect and conduct yourself a certain way, then what's to keep you from keeping that job, right?
Right.
This was surfaced. If you show everybody's private thoughts and conversations, a lot of us will be fired.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Let's be honest. We said some shit.
Not me.
I was just talking about my job this morning.
Shit.
What are you talking about?
We will all be
I
fired.
love my job.
No, I'm not saying this right.
No, I'm kidding.
But he covered like every offendable group possible.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, like, if you start pulling out personal stuff, Donald Sterling, same thing. Private conversation in his own home, right? So if we start pulling things out, no one's gonna have a job.
Yeah,
we all feel a way at a certain time about any particular group that could be marginalized for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it makes it right, but the difference is John Gruden has always been perceived to be an asshole no matter what.
Right.
That's why it was easier to make that call. Now, if you meet some guy that's just golden, great as can be, like say Mike Tomlin tomorrow, you find out he hates gay people.
Yeah.
But his team loves him. Mm-hmm. Now you're in a conundrum because the team loves him, ownership loves him. I mean,
he's gone.
You think so?
If that happens, he's gone. 100%. The league is all about virtue signaling.
Agreed,
at this point.
But I mean, it comes down to, did he treat anyone any differently? Mm-hmm. Feeling away and speaking away in a private conversation as opposed to acting on it is different, right? Actions and words.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it becomes a slippery slope because that's the whole thing about 650,000 emails of thoughts people think that are private amongst a conversation. I'm talking to you and we're having an exchange. You got to fire the whole damn league. That's a lot of emails, a lot of people gone.
I mean,
where do you draw that line? It's a very slippery slope when you look into private discussions.
I mean, I don't really know where that line is drawn. I mean,
I have conversations about how mad my little sister makes me.
Yeah.
She gonna disown me? I'm just like, there's ways to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a huge. That amount of emails is Pandora's box. To a T.
Everything. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they tapped into a fraction of a percent of that, and they got Gruden. But what else is behind there?
Oh man, it's a door. It's like a game show. What's behind door number 1? John Gruden emails. What's behind door number 2? Cover that up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
And
it's just more possibilities to
zoink.
it.
And let me clarify. I'm not saying any of those conversations are right.
Right.
But if they're closeted and they're conducting themselves in a job, that's enough to keep that job by employment standards, right? Same as if someone's a raging alcoholic, but they show up to work sober.
Right.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Not comparing alcoholism and racism. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
like just as far as what's right and wrong as far as employment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
for
it's
sure.
just it's such a huge topic, and Gruden's is kind of like come and gone. But like, where does this lead in coming months?
I don't know, but I don't know if he's going to be in the public eye anytime soon. And this, I think this is a perfect segue right here because there hasn't been a lot of people going after John Gruden or trying to cancel him for this. He actually spoke with a reporter, I think, yesterday, and said the truth will eventually come out. So he's saying, I'm not denying anything, but there's more behind this.
Yeah, he know what's up.
Yeah, he knows.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely knows what's up.
Mhm.
But for our next topic for the show, I think this is a good one. This is controversial right here. I don't know. AP, what's our time? What's our time?
We're at a solid 55 right now.
Solid 55. Okay,
Get a
we
solid
got
55
a
right
little bit more time. We got a little bit more time. But this is controversial. We could touch this for sure.
Touch it. Bring it, baby.
There we go.
Is that 1-2 step? You're playing with me now. You're playing with me.
You said you wasn't going to do that on air, K-Dot.
The whole world knows you're a Sierra fan.
Yeah.
Yo, goodies.
Let me see you 1-2 step.
I'm just trying to get box seats to go to watch Russell Wilson play.
Oh, we know
it.
why you're getting box seats. But
Hey.
hey, yo. Let me holler at you. So cancel culture. Here is cancel culture a good thing or a bad thing? And I present this question because I don't think it's I don't think it's a great thing. I don't think it's a good thing, but I also don't think it's a bad thing. I think that
Way to take a stance, Jay.
Who?
It's not good and it's not bad. What?
No. So here's my explanation behind it. So when I say good thing, I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think people should be canceled if there is a chance that there was some. It's a small percentage of misconception or a large percentage. What I do feel like is if you're intentionally out here trying to stir the pot, i.e. Donald Trump, i.e. anybody who agrees with the QAnon agenda, all that stuff, I don't think that you do deserve a platform because saying that something someone's cheating and saying it in something like a process that is as important as our presidential election, like, yo, it was stolen. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Like, you bruh, go away. They should censor you.
Yep.
But a bad thing is, let's say if someone comes out with a song and it's a lyric and someone hears it and it's like, oh, snap, like, it's really.
That made me feel away.
Yeah, it made me feel away. That person should have been kind of like Dave Chappelle. John Gruden kind of deserves to be canceled, right? So when it comes down to cancel culture, I think that there are people who deserve a platform and there are people who eventually show that they don't.
Yeah.
And I think that that's okay. So that's where I say good thing or bad thing. AP, how does that land for you?
I think that while cancel culture can be dangerous, I think that accountability is a must.
Oh, you stole my word. I was wanting to go
Sorry.
further.
Paper,
There it
rock,
is.
scissors.
No,
Paper,
there
rock,
it is.
scissors. I got
Okay,
it.
she got it. Get it.
I think accountability is a must. I think that certain things, people's feet have to be held to the fire, and you got to be forced to make a decision, right? I don't think that anybody owes anybody an apology for their personal feelings and their own understanding of those feelings, right? As it stands, as I stand here, or as I sit, because I'm in a chair, as I sit in my chair and, you know, the things that come out of my mouth, there might be somebody that disagrees with every single word that I say.
Right.
There
Yep.
might be somebody that disagrees with my very being, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't discuss my sexuality today. We kind of dove into that a little bit. You know what I mean? There may be people that be like, oh, you know, I don't support that. I don't rock with that. You know, I can't even ride with nose by nose because they got this, they support that lifestyle and all this stuff.
If
I
that's
mean,
the case, bye.
and that's the thing, right? Yeah. So when we talk about cancel culture, it's who's canceling what. You know what I'm saying? Like who has the gavel, who has the ability to actually make that call. I don't think that cancel culture as an entity or as a being. I mean, it's an idea, I guess, more than it is an actual
Kind of like
thing.
a theory.
Yeah, and a theory that if we all collectively decide that someone's not good enough, then we can make that person not good enough, right? I think that's what I disagree with. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people will jump on a bandwagon without an understanding of the situation or the circumstance. And I don't think that's fair. I think that we all have a right to disagree, but I don't think that we should go out and start, you know, anybody will sign a petition, you know what I mean, without reading the context. You know what I'm saying? I signed a petition the other day for some youth center. It could have been for something else. You know what I mean? Sorry if somebody got impacted by that. I just thought it was some kids. I just signed what they said. But yeah, that's my take on it. I think accountability is necessary if people are in the wrong. But you know, who's handing out detention slips around here? Like, who's in charge?
That's
100%.
Who's the principal?
Who's your daddy?
There's a comedian, Neil Brennan, in fact, Dave Chappelle's co-writer and best friend, says, white people, we love to snitch. So much we invented Yelp. So who's tattletelling? It's white people. And if you want to talk about cancel culture, you could take out of context and quote Dave Chappelle, I hate white people.
Yeah.
That's cancel culture and to a T. But it should be cancel culture. It should be accountability culture. There's no summarizing somebody for some one thing they said. It's a person in a whole lifetime, right? Look at someone in 35, 45, 80 years of life. They said one thing you want to take out of context or in context. They had a moment. The shit I say when I have road rage at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on the way home, nobody should hear.
Yeah. Oh,
Cancel me.
Nothing's off limits. Cancel me now.
Woo!
Has nothing to do. I can't see who's driving in front of or behind me. I just know I hate the person in front of me. I pull words from all different, walks of life and whatever else and make up languages. I don't care. Like I'm angry and things come out. But it's only directed at a certain vehicle. There's no hate behind that, right? So it should be called accountability culture.
I love that.
The idea that everything's so cut and dry. This person said one thing and they're done forever. Unless you're Kevin Spacey, touch little boys, then yeah, get out.
Oh, bro,
he's that's different.
Here.
But you have a moment, you say a thing, okay, and we've seen people, make their way back into it, and they're not even just saying things and having moments of, different levels of anger or hate. One of my favorite examples, Ray Lewis. If you think Ray did it or not, Ray turned his life around and became a spokesperson and even like a godfather of the NFL. He's like, if you believe in second chances, quote unquote.
That's Ray Lewis.
Ray turned it around.
Yep.
And became just like the focal point in the NFL for like 10, 15 years.
I love that dude.
And I couldn't think of anything from a social stance to kind of like, relate that to. But I mean, you slip up, you make a mistake. All right, well then, dial it back in, circle back around. And that's possible. But the idea that it's a once and done, like, no. And you talk about where does it come from, it has to gain momentum. If it's not trending on Twitter and doesn't gain momentum, this falls under the rug. And a good example, too, is Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby apparently was doing things for years from the rug. Hannibal Buress, comedian, made some jokes about it. It gained some traction, and now all of a sudden they're researching and looking into it and seeing 20, 30 years of wrongdoings, and now they can't turn away because it's in the mainstream media.
Right.
Hannibal Buress almost single-handedly outed Bill Cosby and had him put in jail, which is crazy to me. A comedian who was making some controversial jokes turned out to be true, according to a certain state court. It blows me away. So the thing that you have to remember, too, is people's memories are short. So we're mad now about, certain people. Give it 6 months or a year. If they're resourceful, if they're driven, they'll make their way back around, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, Kobe rest in peace. I love Kobe. This is not going
Yeah.
to a bad place. Don't think it is. Okay, I love Kobe.
Yeah, I already know.
I remember. I can tell you where I was when he passed.
Yeah.
I can tell you when I found out the news. I can tell you how much I had paid on the check so I could leave early because I was not in a good spot.
Yeah.
Kobe was accused of wrongdoings, but nothing was proven. And Kobe came back and won. That's what he does. He's a winner. He fought through it, and then all is forgotten, right?
Exactly.
We have short attention spans. We want to be mad in the moment, right? Because if you're not mad when everyone else is mad, you feel like a monster.
Right.
You feel like you have to be mad. You have to fall on that trim. Because if you don't give a shit, then what's wrong with you? Why aren't you mad? Why aren't you upset?
Exactly.
Right?
You know what I call
'cause-
those guys on social media?
Social justice warriors.
No.
No, okay.
Social media activists.
I love that. I love that.
Social media activists. There was a time, and I know y'all remember when Lil Nas X dropped that Blood Shoe, right?
Yeah, we talked about it.
And this is my belief. I said it on Twitter. I said if Lil Nas X can be a champion for the people, so can Dave Chappelle. Because my thing is, if there is a guy, so there's a guy who goes on there and they talk about one community in particular, and then you have Lil Nas X who comes out on the Breakfast Club and literally says, F your kids. I don't make my music for them, but they're the ones who are streaming your music. That's a problem for me. And how I'm trying to tie all this up here, there's so many times where I see people defending, a cause of someone else because other people are trying to cancel them. Well, what's the context? Why are they? What's the substance? What are they doing to make them this upset? Some things are very valid. Some things are not. I mean, to me, it all depends on where you're marketing. To be honest with you, it all depends on who your audience is. I mean, you can't say certain things about people or subjects or anything like that. And how can I say this? I'm trying to come up with the right words here. Like what Lil Nas X said, F your kids. Okay, man, my kids are listening to your music, so you don't give a damn about my kids, so why should I let them listen to your music? You're canceled, right?
Well,
At your house, at least.
yeah.
Here, he done. He's finished.
Okay, but Jay, what he did right there was put a R rating on his music.
Right.
So if it's an R-rated movie, you don't let your kids watch, right?
Well,
so what he's doing, this is disclaimer saying, hey, this is R-rated, not for your kids. Hide your kids, hide your wife, right? That's what he's saying basically. So this is disclaimer. So he's basically saying, if your kids are upset, if you're upset, I told you, one for them.
Well, hold on though. You can't go on Nickelodeon and market out your music. Am I right?
That's on Nickelodeon.
Well, what I'm saying is that's valid, 100%. You're not making the music for my kids. You have censored music, or you might have a radio edit. Cool. But you have to recognize the room. You have to realize who is feeding you. It's not adults who are feeding Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
It's not 45-year-old men talking about, bruh, you heard that new bruh.
Okay, but Jay, you were a kid at one point. If not Lil Nas X, it says, to hell with your kids. As a kid, I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
Don't push that button. I'm gonna puch that button.
Yeah, but
as anyone under the age of 13 is like, he
my
says it's not
daughter,
for me.
my daughter would never listen to anybody who says F her.
Touche.
That's how I feel about it.
Well,
if you have the audacity to say after my daughter supports you and listens to your music, runs up your radio numbers, runs up your YouTube numbers, runs up your streaming numbers, F my kid, why am I going to let my daughter listen to you?
Your daughter is the above average child though. The average child's gonna be like, you said no, I'm gonna try it out.
And on that note, though, and that also makes you the above average parent.
Yes.
Because not a lot of parents are going to invest that time or invest that concern into their kids. I mean, honestly, and I'm going to record Montero album of the year.
Oh God! All right, that's it. We'll see y'all next week.
Hey, no. AP's not your kid. She's not your kid though. She can say that.
You ain't my daddy. You ain't my daddy. I ain't got no. No, but realistically, I mean, on God, I mean, it was a good album. If you hadn't heard it, I think it deserves a listen. Everybody might not be here for it. However, I will say that, I think that the impacts on democracy versus impacts on feelings, like when we look at cancel culture and everything that comes along with it, I think we need to police ourselves.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think that it takes above average parenting to to create that space for your kids to not be involved in something that that doesn't support them,
right?
That doesn't push them further. You know what I mean? And I think that parents need to do a better job at that. I say it all the time. People are like, oh well, this TV show, they're exposing all of this and blah blah blah. They're talking about this. I disagree. Why are your kids watching it? You need to be in the room with your kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? You need to be monitoring what your kids do have access to. Back in the day, growing up, my mom, shout out to Valda, she'll throw a CD out the window in a heartbeat. Don't leave a CD in the CD player. Don't leave a tape player in the deck. And then as soon as a bitch, frisbee.
Exactly.
Anything. I'm telling you. And that's old school parenting that we've gotten away from because phones, tablets. I mean, we don't know what our kids is listening to.
Chronic 2001 snapped in half in front of me.
Yo, oh my God.
$16 gone. I was
heart.
broke at 15. $16? That's a lot of money. I was mad.
You know what? I say this quite frequently, and then we'll move to the final topic for tonight. I say this, and I mean it. Kids haven't changed. Parents have changed.
Absolutely.
And just like you said, it's all about effective parenting. And, you know, me personally, I don't have any problem with Lil Nas X. The only problem I have is F my kid.
F your kids.
Nah, bro. This one, you ain't,
Buy my album, F your kids.
Yeah, exactly. They going to be playing Montero. No, she going to be listening to somebody else. Which Montero brand?
Jesus
you know what I'm saying?
On the main line. Tell them what you want.
Ye might get some play before Lil Nas X does. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that in this generation, along with cancel culture, everything is so complicated now. It's simple, but it's complicated, right? Because you can cancel this person because of this, and you can't cancel this person because of this, or you might have someone who wants. It's just everybody has an opinion about something. Mm-hmm. My idea of cancel culture is find what works for you. Find what works for you. If this isn't landing for you, just like Joe Rogan says, you don't have to watch it, right?
Yep.
You don't have to view it, just like y'all said. Just like keep them away from it. Like even for me, if I'm not going to make a movement out of it, and you said police yourselves, I'm not going to make a movement out of it. What I am going to do is I'm just not going to entertain it altogether. Right. And that's my personal decision. I don't have to put it on Front Street.
That goes back to the problem before is people are afraid to admit they don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
It's okay to be ignorant because you can't grow up and understand everybody's plight in every walk of life. You can't. All you can do is listen when someone talks.
Right. And live in your own shoes, Stay in your own shoes. So we're about to close up shop here on episode 7 of Notes by Notes. AP's giving me a look. It's time. Real quick, I do want to give you guys a fantasy football update. I thought today was a great show, by the way. I'm happy that we actually got to talk some life. We've talked sports, culture. It was time for life. Next week, we'll definitely be back with some more sports. So we just want to thank you guys for rocking with us. If you are on the YouTube channel or watching on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, show your love for us. Y'all, by the way, we are up to 172 subscribers, 28 away from 200.
Deuce.
Let's go.
Yeah, the goal is 200.
Tap
there we go. Goal is 200 by the end of October. So by Halloween, we should be above the 200 threshold. So
Derrick Henry range.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I got you, AP. There's a shout out.
Big time shout out.
Big
time shout out to the
Bills.
Tennessee Titans for beating the Buffalo Bills. That was a great game. That was a phenomenal game.
Let's go. I'm riding with the home team till the wheels fall off.
You know we're letting it go. I was gonna get you.
Or until they start sucking. Whichever come first.
K-Dot remembered the home team, but I'm gonna remember the other thing that you said. Shout out to the Chicago Sky for winning the WNBA championship. Led by Candace Parker. Super phenomenal series.
Let's go.
My wings were... Yeah. We don't want to talk about the wings. We'll just talk about the champions.
Yeah,
that's what we'll do because, we don't want to talk about that.
Let's go.
So, quick update for...
Also, highest ratings ever for WNBA.
For
finals.
WNBA,
Hey,
yeah.
let's clap it up
Yep,
for
yep.
the WNBA.
Yep, let's give them a round of applause.
Much needed respect. They've been fighting for it for years. Keep tuning in. Don't let this be the only season because we're not talking about it. Next season, tune in, tap in. It's getting greater.
Count
Let's
it.
go.
Count it. All right, so we got a tumultuous week on Notes by Notes Fantasy Football. The rankings, and I love it because my favorite team name is actually ranked number 1. Country Roads, take my homes. Sitting at 6-0 in first place. Lamb Chops is second place with a 4-2 record. Half Chub.
Every time. I cannot. I try to hold it in. I try to hold it in.
Is number 3 with a 4-2 record. My beautiful wife, my beautiful brown sugar, who also goes by the name Quarter Dak, is sitting at 3-3. Jack's Genius Team, obviously never changed his name, is sitting at 3-3 at number 5. At number 6, it's yours truly, and I had to change the fantasy football name again because I got rid of the player that I named it after. And the name is I Wish You Would.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
getting better and better.
There we go. There we go.
Okay.
I was going to go 2 Chainz. I wish would like get your cabinet, but I couldn't. So I didn't want to do that, you know. So yeah, that's why I came up with. I'm sitting at number 6. Number 7 is Taking Out the Trash at 3-3. Number 8 is the Jalen Hurts at 3-3. Number 9 is the Fantasy Football Team at 2-4. My homie Zach started out 2-0.
He was on top.
Number 10, 2-4.
Zach.
Ooh.
Dak to the Future is 2-4. And by the way, the 12th member of this league, I meant to mention this at the beginning of the show. At the beginning of the week, I lost a colleague. His name was Josh Davis. He was a colleague with me on XFL News Hub. Passed away suddenly.
Oh, damn.
And he's the final team. He's 7 city hitters.
Oh, man.
So I do want to take this time to give a big time shout out to his family. My prayers, our prayers, and condolences are with you guys. I couldn't even imagine. Josh was a hard worker. Josh asked questions. Josh wanted to know more. Josh wanted to be better. He wanted to be great. And I never got to meet him in real life, but I did get to speak with him on the phone several times. And it was really hard this week. So big time shout out to his family. We're praying for you guys. I know that's a curveball. I forgot to tell you guys, but big time shout out to you guys. We're praying for you, and we're hoping that the best is yet to come. So that's going to wrap up this edition of Notes by Notes, you guys. Episode 7. We're almost at 10. Almost at 10. So we'll be back next week with some fiery sports talk because the Cowboys are playing again. and the Longhorns will be on the tube too. So next week we will be back on Facebook and YouTube. Again, we want to thank you guys for rocking with us. Once again, this show is brought to you by our friends over at A to Z for Skin and Hair. Hit them up at 469-674-5567 and tell them the crew at Notes by Notes sent you. Once again, that's 469-674-5567 and let them know that the crew at Notes by Notes sent you. We are out of here, people.
Yeah. Stay up, Austin.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Notes by Noakes. Notes by Noakes is also available on Anchor FM, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify.